Hi, my name is Danica Lynch, and I'm a somatic experiencing practitioner. I'm here today to offer you a simple grounding practice which can be done anywhere at any time. However, before we begin, I would like to say how deeply sorry I am for the devastating loss and trauma your community has experienced. There truly are no words that can fully meet a moment such as this. To all the families who have lost loved ones, I hold you with the deepest compassion. To all the students, what you've experienced is overwhelming and so frightening. Please know that whatever you are experiencing right now in this moment, it matters. To the school teachers and staff who are holding so much while trying to navigate your own grief, thank you for all that you are doing. As someone who has worked with individuals that have experienced a school shooting, please know that what you are going through is a lot. And when something so overwhelming or life-threatening happens, your body and mind may not feel like themselves. Some of you may be feeling overwhelmed with fear, anger, confusion. Some of you may feel numb or disconnected, wanting to just isolate. And some of you may not feel anything at all. Just know that all of these responses are natural. This is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that your nervous system is trying to protect you. And these are common responses to the overwhelming event you have experienced. And although all of this feels intense, your body is designed to heal when given the right support. At this time, I would like to invite you to a grounding practice. So please take a comfortable seated position wherever you like. May it be on a chair or on the floor, such as myself. And you can always begin to get comfortable and add a pillow or a blanket if that feels like it would give you some added support or comfort. As you're settling in, I would like to invite you to slowly let your eyes orient around your space, moving your head, and see if you can find one or two resources, just as I am. Slowly just moving, notice resources, something of color, texture, maybe an object, something that looks pleasant to you. This is your resource that you can come to anytime you like during this practice, and just noticing your resource. Now that you have your resources, I'd like to invite you in this moment. You can keep your eyes opened or gently begin to let your eyes, you can close your eyes or bring your eye gaze down towards the floor. And at any time that you need to come back to your visual resource, please do so. You can look right back at your resource anytime during this practice. So just softening through your eyes. Soften your gaze. And can you begin to notice the temperature of your space? Is it cool or warm? Noticing the sounds around you. Now begin to bring your awareness into your breath. Upon your inhalation, notice where your breath settles in your body. Where do you notice the slight movement of expansion? As you're breathing in, notice where your breath settles. Upon your exhalation, just release. See if you can soften a little more into your position. Just do a few rounds of just breathing in, noticing where your breath settles. Exhale, softening. Now begin to notice how your body is seated. Feeling the weight of your body. Does it feel light? Does it feel heavy? Begin to bring awareness to your feet touching the ground. Can you notice the weight of your feet? Maybe even noticing the temperature of your feet. Do they feel cool? Do they feel warm? Now bring your awareness to your legs. I want you to notice just the way that your legs are maybe touching the chair or touching the ground. The weight of your legs. Do they feel light or heavy? And now I want you to take your hands and can you place them gently on tops of your legs? And just begin to give a gentle squeeze. Right? Just a gentle touch from the knees to your thighs. Just as I am, just slowly moving. Right? Gentle squeeze. And just begin to notice if you can sense any sensations. Now relaxing your hands, begin to notice your back and just notice how it feels. If you're leaning against a support such as the back of your chair or a wall, just notice the support that your chair or wall are offering. If you're not seated, leaning against anything, just notice how your back feels in general. Now, if it feels comfortable, can you begin to stack your hands on top of each other, on top of your stomach, just right over your navel. Notice how your breath fills the stomach into your palms, breathing in and breathing out, just notice. A few rounds of breath here, just noticing how the breath moves down to your stomach, right? As you breathe in, maybe you can feel that slight movement of the breath filling into your hands. As you exhale, softening. Now relaxing your hands, begin to bring your awareness to your arms. Relaxing your shoulders. I want you to just bring awareness to your arms. Notice your hands, your fingers. How do they feel? Tense? Or are they relaxed? Can you maybe notice the temperature of your hands or your fingers? Now, can you take your hands and place them on your arms and give a gentle squeeze from the shoulders down to your wrists, and just continuing with this gentle squeeze, and just notice any sensations that you may feel. Continuing to breathe in and breathe out. And then begin to relax your hands back down. And bringing awareness to the center of your chest. As you breathe in, notice the slight rise of your chest. And the release upon your exhale. Placing one hand, you can just bring it, again, just comfortably across your chest. Breathing in. Notice the expansion of the breath. Breathing out, softening. Maybe even with your hand, you can start to even notice the rhythm of your heart rate, right? Just feeling that slight rhythm. Just notice. And relaxing your hand and taking your hand and just placing it on the back of your neck. Let your hand be of support to your neck. Give a gentle squeeze or just a soft placement of your hand. Relax your arm and just notice any sensations that may come up. Continuing to breathe, inhaling and exhaling, just noticing the support of your hand to the back of your neck. Now relaxing your hand back down, can you begin to bring awareness to your facial muscles? Can you begin to soften through your jawline, your cheekbones, your eyes, your forehead? Just softening through your muscles of the face. If it feels good, you can even move your jaw just slightly. Blink your eyes, soften your eyes. Just relax and soften through your facial muscles. Now begin to bring awareness to your whole body. As you do this, notice your body doesn't have to change anything. Just notice. And by just bringing awareness, this helps your body remember that right now, in this moment, you're here. We are present and together in this practice. So just breathing in and breathing out, bringing awareness to your body. Notice if anything feels tight, right? Maybe you can find or bring a little softness to these areas. Now, when you're ready, I want you to slowly begin to let your eyes once again orient around your space. Moving your head, your eyes, looking around. Maybe your eyes navigate to the original resource that you found at the beginning of your practice. Or maybe your eyes move to another resource that feels pleasant to you. Just notice. Noticing the sounds once again that you can hear in your space. And just coming back to noticing the temperature of your space, right? The coolness or the warmth. This practice can be done at any time, day or night. This practice is designed to help you and your body remember that right now in this moment, you're here, you're present. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to some more practices with you.